Hey guys, it is a bright sunny day out here, but it is a nice day. It's only about high 70s, so feels great. I'm hiding in the shade right now, but today I'm going to be making a little bit of rabbit compost tea. So to do so, you'll just need a bucket. This is a 2-gallon bucket. Eventually I'm going to do some bigger buckets, but I'm just using this right now because this is all I need for my containers. And then you're going to want some sort of mesh. Burlap bag works. If you have any, like the big feed bags, sorry, there's a loud truck. There you go. Like the big feed bags, sometimes they can leak the water out, but you don't want large clumps to be left in your tea. So this is just some pink tulle that I have on hand. So it's got slightly larger holes, but I don't think they're big enough to really cause an issue with too large of particles in my compost tea for my potted plants. So what we're gonna do is spread this out, and I'm gonna go get the rabbit droppings and put them in this bag, this mesh bag. We're kind of making a large tea bag. So I'll be right back. Alright, so to make the compost tea, you want about 5 parts water to 1 part of dropping. So for 1 gallon of compost tea, a quarter of it would be about 4 cups. Would be 4 cups. And so we're wanting only a 5th part, so a little less than 4 cups per gallon. And it does not have to be exact. If you put a little more in there, it just has more nutrients in the soil. So we're gonna get roughly, because I'm doing 2 gallons here, so we're going to get roughly 8-ish, a little less than 8 cups of droppings. Okay, so I think that's probably plenty, and there's a lot of other things in there. Eventually I'm going to create bins that capture this nicely and hopefully keeps it a little more clean. But they're animals, they're going to be a little messy. So all I'm gonna do is wrap this up. Voila. And I've got a small little rubber band that I'm going to tie around the neck. Okay, so I just tied a knot because my band just broke, but it worked. I'm quite happy. So now all we're gonna do is put this tea bag in our bucket, and I'm gonna fill this up with water, and we're gonna let it sit for 2 to 3 days. And as I've said previously, rabbit droppings have a lot of the key nutrients that plants need to be healthy, to grow well. And so we're gonna let those nutrients leach out from the droppings and into the water. And at the end of 2 to 3 days, we should have a nice nutrient-rich tea to water our plants. Alright, so it has been a few days, I think like 3 days, and woo! There's my compost tea. Lovely stuff, huh? I've got my gloves. Okay, now, what you can do from here, if you want, you just take out the droppings bag and dump the liquid right onto your plants. Or if you're not squeamish, you can squeeze out some extra nutrients. Whatever you want to do. Alright, and the rest of this can just go into the garden. Alright, so I put the droppings in the garden, and now I'm ready to give this fertilizer to my pumpkins here, because they are needing it. They're starting to turn yellow. This is not as dark of a green as this down here. And that is definitely yellow. So they are needing nutrients. Now before you give them nutrients, it's good to water the pots just a little bit, because if you're familiar with container gardening, once you put water in, a lot of times most of it seeps out the bottom because the soil can't soak it in as fast. So what you want to do is water the pots just a little bit, really until the water starts seeping out, and then let them sit for a little bit and dry out a little. So that way, once you put the nutrients in, then the soil's not going to just let it leach out the bottom. Alright, now I'm going to pour my compost tea. And that's it. I have since washed my hands in the hottest water I could handle. And guys, I'm not going to even pretend that this is a very easy method. It stinks so bad. I mean, you're working with rabbit droppings. It's poop. And so if you have a bad gag reflex or anything like that, or very sensitive to smells, I would not be doing this if I were you. It is a great free method if you have pet bunnies like we do, or a cheaper method to get the nutrients for your plants, but it smells really bad. I was even gagging, but you couldn't see it because the camera was focused on the bucket. So, and I usually don't gag, but I'm planning to do this in larger quantities so I don't have to do it as often, because I have rabbits and I want to use these rabbits for the garden if I can help it, instead of having to go buy fertilizer from the store. So, but it is a simple process. You're making a tea, you're brewing a tea. You just let it sit for a few days, and then you take out the tea bag and dump the water, because the nutrients will have gone out of the droppings and into the water, and you dump that water on your plants, and it's good. This needs to be done with potted plants almost on a weekly basis, just because they lose a lot of the nutrients out of the bottom. Anyways, I hope you guys found this interesting and helpful. Maybe a little gross, but interesting and helpful. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.